Greetings, everyone. I wanted to, first of all, I am Sankofa Divinity Administration. Well, I'm the co-creator and the co-founder of Sankofa Divinity Administration. I am Yeshua. What else? A spiritual advisor, Reiki master teacher, as well as an inspirational speaker. What we do here at Sankofa Divinity Administration is we are purposed, our whole purpose is to promote and inspire others to establish a relationship within thyself with their own divinity. We do not subscribe to any particular religion. However, I will, as the voice of Sankofa Divinity Administration, I will use the Bible as a reference or the doctrine of Christianity simply because I was raised or I was born into a family that did subscribe to Christianity. So every once in a while, maybe often more times than not, you will hear me reference the King James Version, the Bible, and just say certain things out of the Bible in which I have come to understand and believe in my own journey, if you will. I wanted to come on and basically talk about, things that we do here at Sankofa Divinity, and that is to inspire others to establish a relationship within thyself, and why we feel like it's so important. We feel that it's very important. We feel that it's imperative that you establish or reestablish your relationship with you that you have with yourself. Okay, and out of the alignment of that relationship, all other relationships will come. Okay, not only that, all other relationships will fall to the wayside, because as you tap into your own divinity and as you seek the kingdom of God that is within you, you have to come out from among them. Who is them? Those things that no longer serve you, perhaps, and it can be a person, place, thing, or an idea. It can be a belief, and I'm not saying these things simply because I want to say them or they sound so good. No, I'm saying them. I'm saying them, and I am speaking on them simply because I've been there. And because I have established my relationship with the divine, and I know the divine or the creator or the first cause of causation of all things that exists for myself, I am compelled to come forth and share my experience in hopes that my experience will touch the mind and the heart of another individual. So he or she that has an ear, let him come as you are. Okay, so today I wanted to talk on what was brought to me yesterday in regards to coming on YouTube, and not only that, I have to, let me tell you something. I am so grateful. And I want to say that's one of the trademarks, or that's one of the I'm gonna call the watermark of one who has established a relationship with thyself, is that they are grateful for any and everything, big or small, because when we're dealing with our divinity, there is no big or small. It's just the experience of whatever is taking place, whether it be $1 bill or $1 million bill, $1 million, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I don't want to get off on that. I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for the YouTube platform, and I'm grateful for the readers that I have come across, particularly one called Captain Reed. I think Cosmic Royal. I listen to them. Divine Soul, and it is another one. It's quite a few, but these are the ones that are on top of my head. I'm sure if I have named them, I have to come back some other day and really name the ones that have really assisted me in the journey and being able to see. And I want to say this. That usually when a person, and I'm gonna put it, if a spiritual being, a person who identified themselves as a spiritual being, and for whatever reason they may listen to a reader, they may listen to an oracle, they're listening to get a confirmation of the thing in which they already know. Because, hey, granted, we are still having this human experience. And because we're having this human experience, there are going to be moments where you have some knee-jerking moments that you just cannot have enough clarity. Okay? You cannot have enough clarity. So you may listen to someone. You may read a book, whatever the case is. The universe is always communicating with us. Your divinity is always communicating with you. The cosmos are always communicating with you. Just as they are communicating with me and through me. But I yield myself, and I consecrate myself to the expression of my divinity that resides within me. Therefore, it is never I that doeth the work, but it is all that is and all that will ever be that does the work through me. And I am so grateful that I'm in this space and place. Okay? So I want to get to something that came up. And I usually don't do notes. I don't care to do notes. But how can, I'm Sunco for Divinity Administration here. So that's one of the things. Administration, you're always taking notes, writing down, doing this and doing it. It's the back end of all things. Okay, so this is the front end. The front end is being able to project. The back end requires one to be in a receptive posture. You can call it the negative, or you can call it the feminine trait, or the feminine energy. In a receptive state in which it must establish to come forth and project. The projection is the masculine energy projecting outward, where the feminine energy is going inward. So we need a little bit more of the inward instead of the outward. But nevertheless, I'm going here. So I got on this thing. I know I had mentioned that once you get on this path, once you get on the path of your spiritual journey, or once you embrace that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, there are certain things that are required of you. There are certain qualities of your character that must be established. And one of those qualities is faith. Faith. Having faith the size of a mustard seed. Now, what that means, I have no idea. All I know is that it's in the Bible. Faith is faith to me. Now, you can ask for more faith. And I guess, the seed of faith, and if you ask for more faith, it grows into a tree, and that tree will, hey, bear fruit. Sometimes I'm gonna leave it right there because sometimes I get off on a tangent. But your faith, yeah, but I'm gonna start here. So your faith, the size of a mustard seed, okay, you have this faith, you have an enormous measurement of faith, and you're just going through life because of your faith. And what happens is, oh my goodness, I can feel the energy. What happens is that that mustard seed of faith breaks through the ground, and it begins to bear fruit. And you know what one of those fruits are? There's several fruits now. It may be an orange tree, it may be an apple tree, it may be whatever tree you desire to have, a banana tree, it doesn't matter. A fruit is a fruit. But it begins to bear fruit, and one of those fruits, I'm just going to name two today. One of those fruits is courage. See, you can't just have faith, because faith requires one to work towards their divinity, or to work towards those things that will promote and motivate the inspiration of one's spirituality. You just can't have faith. Oh, I have faith. Oh, it's going to work. No. It cannot be like that. Faith gives, the seed of faith is grown in such a way, is cultivated in such a way that the fruits of it becomes courage, and then out of courage, humility. Faith, courage, and humility. Faith, courage, and humility. Because, and the reason why I say humility is simply because we can become so courageous in our spiritual walk that we lose sight of the silence of the presence that reside within us, that requires nothing but to be. See, we become, because we lose sight, we become overly excited about things. We become overly boastful about things. And I will say this. One thing about the spiritual walk, or the identification of one's spiritual walk, is that it doesn't require you to be boastful about it. Matter of fact, you don't want to be boastful because you don't want to draw any attention to yourself. Now, I've had moments where I have drawn a lot of attention to myself because I'm assuming that I will be received in a certain way. But no. It doesn't happen like that. When you're on this path of cultivating your own divinity, or establishing a relationship with your own divinity, or I will say this, when you're on a spiritual journey to where you are becoming one with your own divinity, silence will be your resting place. Having no expression at all, and allowing people to sense the presence of who you are versus listening to the presence of who you are. Because sometimes the listening part doesn't line up with the presence of who you are. It doesn't. It happens that way. And it's not because there's a misalignment. It's just because that's how people perceive you to be. Especially if they are just now beginning on their spiritual journey, and you come out the gate You have the presence of the divine with you, but you just happen to do something that would throw them off keel. They might not take too well to that. They might not take too well to that unless they try to, or they make an effort to get understanding of what is really taking place or what they are really looking at or perceiving. I don't know if you got that, but hopefully somebody did. So faith, the science of mind tells me that faith is a mental attitude. Now, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he says that faith is the eternal Alexa. The eternal Alexa and a mental attitude. The mental attitude of faith increases the altitude or the expansion, the elevation of your consciousness. So when you get to that place, you begin to see, well, I'll say this, the clairs of your senses begin to heighten. I think I mentioned this in one of my other YouTube moments, if you will, YouTube sessions. I think I mentioned that the more you become spiritually inclined, if you will, or the more that you become spiritually concentrated in your spirituality, the more awareness you will gain. And in that awareness, you have access to certain things that other people don't have. And it's not because you are better than them, it's because of your awareness. It's the awareness, the measurement of one's awareness that makes them somewhat indifferent or different from the other person. So, for an example, and I'll use my mother as an example. My mother is a Christian, okay? Matter of fact, my mother made the transition some time ago, but she was a Christian. So when I got on my journey of spirituality and identifying myself with my divinity, some of the things that I would talk about, she could not relate to because her mind would only go so far to where I was. So if I said to her, whatever you sow, you shall reap, she gets that. But if I said to her, the Creator is the first causation of all things that exist, and the principal law of that, one of the principal laws of things is cause and effect. If I said that to her, she'd be like, girl, yeah, okay. If you say so. But we're basically saying the same thing. And I guess, you can say, once you get on your spiritual journey, the depth of your understanding is deepened because your relationship with your divine self, or the likeness and the image of who you are as a divine being, has deepened. Now we're moving into a space where the deep is calling unto the deep. And that's where you're going. So there will be moments. We live in this world, but we are not of this world. We live in this, because we live in this world, there are certain things that we must participate in. Because it's a part of the divine expression. I think I mentioned on one of my my description is that, I embrace all religions. I embrace all of them. Simply because they are all the creative an inspired expression of the divine. And if God be for me, who can be against? Number one, no one can be against what I believe. Or they're saying the same thing that I'm saying. I'm just going a little bit deeper, into the earth of it, or into the ocean of the spirit. I'm just going a little bit deeper. And I'm only going a little bit deeper because I choose. I choose to go deeper. And the deeper has chosen me simply because I have chosen it. See, many are called, but few are chosen. Few are chosen simply because they have embraced the invitation. They have accepted and they have received the invitation. Many are called. We're all called. But not all will go into the deep. Because going into the deep or the depths of spirituality or one's divinity requires you to go alone. And no one wants to go alone because of desires and attachments, belonging, and not adhering to alone. See, when you're belonging, you're being with something. When you are alone, you are all one and all together lovely. So, I am so grateful for the channeling and the expression of this word in which I have brought forth, and I always look forward to come on and say something that will inspire one to move from one place and space within their own consciousness into, to another. Always, I can talk about it every day. I was just listening to someone. She's like, you have this gift. You can talk about it all day, every day. I can talk about divine expression of all that is and all that will ever be all day long. And it doesn't matter if you are Islam, if you are Catholic, if you are Christian, or if you are Protestant, if you are an Israelite, because we're all connected at the end of the day. And the thread that holds all that together is love. And on the other end of that thread is the law of God. So, with that, I will say, love is the law. Love under will. Do what thy will shall be the whole of the law, and no other thing shall be done outside of that. Love and law go together. God and law, God and love go together. You know why they go together? Because God is law and love. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and discontinue this YouTube, and I look forward to coming on again and doing my thing as my thing. So if you want, I don't open up the comments because I'm not in. I refuse to be distracted by what someone is commenting. Therefore, I say the words of Dr. Wayne Dyer. I am independent of the opinions of others, whether it be good or bad, it doesn't matter. I am here to inspire, and I am here to allow the divine expression of all that is and all that will ever be to move through me, because that's where I live and move and have my being. So I say this: if you want to get in contact with me, or you have any kind of questions are always welcome, because to me, a question is nothing more than a portal to the other side of another dimension, or an elevation, or another letter, another, well, you're wrong on the letter, if you will, on the ladder, if you will. We're all climbing the Jacob's ladder. Huh? We're all climbing it. So if you want to get in contact with me, Sunko for Divinity at gmail.com. I'm always open for that. And you can find me on Facebook as well, Sunko for Divinity Administrations. I am a spiritual advisor, Reiki master teacher, Reiki practitioner, and a inspirational speaker. And I just come forth to do my thing as my thing, and allowing the force of all that is good to flow through me, that I may touch someone. So if you find yourself in darkness, get all the understanding and the wisdom that you can get, or get all the knowledge and the understanding of that knowledge that you can get, so that you can move into wisdom and do the thing in which I am doing this day. Stay blessed.